so that'll just be an example that'll document something else. Okay, anything else in reference to this? Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, not in reference to this, but are you going to at all use our education papers on the exam?
I'm not going to use the education papers, and I'm not going to use those articles, so don't worry about that, because I think we've all read enough. And I've still got more to read today. What I will more than likely do, though, is some of the things that you put on there might actually reflect populism or liberalism or something along those lines. So I might attribute a quote or two. Not that you would need to know what the quote itself meant or the context behind it, but you might need to know how it relates to one of these ideologies or something. And, or maybe if somebody said something that's just out in left field, I'm going to make sure that ends up on the exam, because that's kind of important too. Yeah, I saw a hand. Was it you, Mike?
Oh yeah. Like, what would you? Since a lot of like the articles are like, they don't really end with like a true answer.
Right.
Are you? Whenever you ask us a question on the test, are you looking for like personal opinion type or like?
On the short answers, give me support. On the short answers, give me support, just like you did with the papers.
Okay.
So if you're going to address articles, I mean, when you think about it, like the lady Barbara Harris, if you want to use opinion, you could use opinion that would support or that would dispute what she's doing. You see what I mean? So either way
But you can't
go,
answer objectively.
as long as you got some support as far as why, and when you think about it, all of these things, and that's why I use them, can go both ways. The best answer is going to be like, hey, this is what I think, but maybe somebody on the other side might say this as kind of a counterpoint. Yeah. Some along those lines, maybe answer it in your art, but this is really irrelevant because, or maybe this is a valid point, but these other things that I mentioned are more important to me. You kind of get around that. Okay? Yes, sir.
Are there any chapter questions you think are especially important? Or
Oh,
would you
all
wanna
of
take
the
out?
chapter questions are especially important.
Are there
All
any-
of the
Are
chapter
you going to have
questions.
all of them that are here on the test?
I am not. I will probably have a good 10 or so. About 10 or so, maybe a little bit more than that. And I'll go back and look. How many questions were there total from the 3 chapters?
There's like 7 each.
7 each, so about 21. Yeah, so
About,
10 is probably safe. The thing is that I usually budget that 4th chapter into this. And I've really got to go back and spend some time on this tonight and figure out, okay, I'm going to have to make up questions from the 4th chapter because we didn't really cover the 4th chapter. So I got to remove all of that, and I got to find some extra questions. So that's why I
Got a
hesitate to
question.
answer
Back
it
to
right
3.
Yes.
Like on the chapter questions, like who was Charles de Gaulle? I couldn't find
Charles
that.
de Gaulle.
I was
Charles
looking
de
at it, I was
Gaulle.
like, I could not find that in the book.
Okay, chapter 3 was it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like usually I can find these questions. I was like,
Okay,
what?
Charles de Gaulle, if I'm not mistaken, was in one of the. Yeah, I know. See, every once in a while I try and look out for the fringe.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, I try to look out for the fringe. It's actually on page 41 down here.
Oh, okay.
At the bottom of page 41, General Charles de Gaulle, yeah, you got it.
Okay.
It says here, declared a free French government in London to expel the Germans, and many major powers recognized it as the government of France. With the liberation of Paris in 44, it turned into a government with territory, population, and independence. So Charles de Gaulle was one of those guys that was basically a freedom fighter sort.
Okay.
Just say he has an airport in
He has an airport. Cool.
Anything else y'all have in reference to 7 or anything from the chapter questions? This exam, while you think about it, is going to be article heavy. This one will be really article heavy. The terms will be a little bit light, but I'm going to sit down tonight because I really have nothing to do tonight and tomorrow but y'all's exam. So y'all are going to have a fun one on Friday. I do promise you that. Yes.
I had one question from the chapter 7 question, the
Okay.
second one.
Go ahead.
The significance of the bowling alone article.
Yeah. The significance of the bowling alone article, and let me get you a page number on this. Basically, the bowling alone article is talking about the decline of American political culture. It's on page 122, and it says here, his article, Bowling Alone, caught much attention and controversy.
Who's him?
Putnam noted the membership loss of many associations, unions, PTAs, Boy Scouts, and fraternal orders, and feared it meant a decline of our social capital and decay of civil society. Basically what he's saying is that Americans are acting alone and not in groups. And what that means is that since we're more comfortable doing things alone, that's the decline of our culture, if you will, because groups that were important aren't. Yes.
What was the page number? That you just closed the book?
122. 122. Any other chapter questions since we're kind of talking about that?
Japanese committed suicide or something like
The Japanese committed suicide.
no
The 2 days.
yeah they're forgetting
That was the
secret.
textbook article, and yeah, let me hit that really quick, just to go ahead and address this with the articles.
That was really back to Popeye, right?
Yeah. When you look at political socialization up here, I did not give you a family article. The Japan textbook article is a real good one, and Alfredo, you had that one, right? The textbook article? Yeah, I think it was just last Friday, maybe, something along those lines. Definitely take a good look at that one. The Addicts article, and then the one from today that Malik had was the tips article. Take a look at that one. Citizen activity, maybe. Media, don't worry about Aryan Rap, but certainly the Popeye and a number of those cartoons are basically dealing with media socialization when you think about it. And then the Rwanda article, which you had, I believe, the other day, right, Nassim? The one dealing with the percentage of women in elected office. So those should be pretty straightforward. Korematsu, we covered a lot. Are y'all familiar? Y'all good with that case? Okay, that one could be a 10-pointer, maybe all by itself, because there's a lot of detail in that one.
And he lost because the government said he had a duty to the U.S. to go to the internment camp.
What was the exact language that they said?
I thought they said that he had a duty as an American citizen
As a
to
citizen,
go
yeah.
to the internment camps.
As a citizen, you have rights and you have responsibilities.
As a citizen, you have rights and responsibilities. And this article, or not the article, there wasn't one, but this court case basically said that some folks are going to have the responsibility to serve in the armed forces, some are going to have the responsibility to work in the factories, namely the women, and some, namely the Japanese Americans, have the responsibility or the duty, in your sense of word a few minutes ago, to go to the internment camps for the protection of the country.
So
Yes.
this is not an article.
This was not an article, no. One of these days I'm going to go back into the 1940s and get some articles, but that's not going to be today.
Time machine.
Yeah. Time machine, hot tub.